Basic Essay Structure, Developmental Writing 0091. After viewing this PowerPoint, you should read chapters 4, 5, and 6 in your textbook to help reinforce the concepts presented here. These chapters cover traditional 5-paragraph essay structure. The basic structure of every essay we will write in this course is outlined in this PowerPoint. Every essay you write in here will contain 5 paragraphs: the introduction paragraph, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion paragraph. Additionally, your essay will always present a thesis statement, which we'll talk more about during this slideshow and all semester. Finally, I will expect you to write a minimum of 400 words for each essay you write. You can check your word count when you write on Microsoft Word. It's in the bottom left-hand corner next to the page numbers. The introduction paragraph is the first paragraph in the essay. This paragraph is used to introduce the topic and draw the reader in. A good number of sentences to shoot for is 4, though you can write more. However, I definitely don't want to see you writing fewer sentences than that. 4 or more, please. The first 3 sentences you'll use to introduce the topic of the essay. For example, if you're writing about dogs, you'll use these 3 sentences to introduce the topic of dogs in a general sense. You might say they're a popular pet, or that there are many different breeds. Just general stuff, not your specific point yet. That's the thesis statement's job, which will be presented as the last sentence in the introduction. We'll talk more about the thesis statement in a minute. When you introduce your topic in a general sense, there are several different ways you can do this. Your textbook goes over 7 in depth, so you need to be sure to read Chapter 4 closely to learn more about them. Here they are listed, however: background information, general to specific, contrast, anecdote, surprising statement, question, and quote. Notice that it says you should be careful with using quotes. That's because you have to give attribution for the quote. Chapter 4 goes over this more in depth. Now for the thesis statement. This is pretty much the most important sentence in the entire essay because it gives you as a writer direction, and it gives your reader a roadmap for what they're about to read. Any longer academic writing, like essays and research papers, will require a thesis statement of some kind. In this class, you'll always place yours as the last sentence of the first paragraph. As your professor, I'll always expect to see it there in the same place, the last sentence of the introduction. Generally speaking, I'll also expect to see your thesis statement contain 3 specific themes: the topic of the essay, which is what your essay is about; the controlling idea of the essay, which is what you're saying about the topic; and the 3 main points of development, which will be your 3 main supports for your controlling idea, and also the topics of your 3 body paragraphs. Moreover, the thesis statement is only 1 sentence long. Let's look at an example to see it. Dogs make wonderful pets because they are kind, loyal, and smart. Dogs is the topic of the essay. Notice that the topic is very general. There is nothing specific going on here. Not yet. Just the topic. It's dogs. If you're going to read this essay, you'd know it was going to be about dogs from this thesis statement. The controlling idea is make wonderful pets. Here's the specific part of the thesis statement. This is what the writer is saying about dogs. It's the point. Thus, the entire rest of the essay is going to be about how dogs make wonderful pets. The writer will never mention anything off topic, like how sometimes dogs chew things up. That doesn't support the controlling idea that dogs make good pets, right? That's why it's called the controlling idea. It controls the essay. The 3 main points, then, are kind, loyal, and smart. Thus, body paragraph 1 will be about how dogs are kind. Body paragraph 2 will be about how dogs are loyal. And body paragraph 3 will be about how dogs are smart. Do you see how it's a little roadmap for your reader? They know exactly what to expect from each section of the essay. The order the points are listed in is the order the body paragraph should be written. This way your essay is easy to follow and you have direction to write. You and the reader know exactly where you're going. Also, notice that it's only 1 sentence long. I expect all your thesis statements to be only 1 sentence long too. After the introduction is body paragraph 1. You write body paragraph 1 about point 1 from the thesis. Remember, in our example, this paragraph would be about dogs being kind. Each body paragraph should begin with a clear topic sentence, which we'll talk about more in depth in a minute. Then the body paragraph should be filled with examples, facts, and experiences that support body 1's topic. Body 2 is just like body 1, except that it's about point 2 from the thesis. In our example, that would be that dogs are loyal. The whole paragraph will be about how loyal dogs are and would provide examples to support that point. Body 3 is like body 1 and body 2, but it's about point 3, of course. In our example, that's the point that dogs make good pets because they are smart. Remember that we said that body paragraphs start with strong, clear topic sentences. These are the first sentences in the paragraph, and they should do 3 things. The first is use a transitional device, like first, next, or furthermore, or whichever one you think is appropriate. There's a nice big chart of them on page 23 in your textbook. A strong topic sentence will also include the topic of the paragraph, which means it will mention the point from the thesis that it is trying to explicate. Finally, it will include a thesis link, which means it will reinforce the topic and controlling idea of the essay. Let's look at some examples. First, dogs make wonderful pets because they are kind. Next, dogs are loyal, so they make fantastic pets. Finally, dogs make great pets because they are smart. Each of these topic sentences contains a transition. First, next, finally. They also mention a main point from the thesis statement: kind, loyal, smart. They also link to the thesis, which means they say the topic and controlling idea, that dogs make wonderful pets. The reason you do this is to reinforce that main idea over and over. It sends a powerful message. The 5th paragraph is the conclusion paragraph. It's the last paragraph in the essay, and no new information should be included here. The conclusion restates the thesis statement using new words and closes out the essay. In your book, you can read about the single-sentence method or the multi-sentence method for restating your thesis. I think the multi-sentence method is easier and effortlessly gets you 5 sentences, which is more than the minimum, so I suggest you use this method. I'll show you an example of how to do this, but you take your thesis, which was originally 1 sentence, and break it into 4. Put the topic and controlling idea in 1 sentence, then put point 1 in its own sentence. Do the same with points 2 and 3, and that's 4 sentences right there. For your 5th sentence, you must have a closing sentence that is not a part of your thesis statement. We'll talk about that more in the next slide. Finally, some tips. No new information should appear in the conclusion. All you do is restate the thesis statement using new words. Don't copy and paste it, and then close the essay using a closing method. That's it. I expect your conclusions to be 3 sentences minimum, but if you use the multi-sentence method, you'll get 5 easily. The last sentence is the closing sentence. Chapter 6 of your textbook covers 4 methods for this. You can read about each: summary, suggestion, prediction, and call to action. To close this PowerPoint up, here's a conclusion example. Dogs make wonderful pets for many reasons. One is that they are very kind. Another reason is that they are loyal. Finally, dogs are smart. Everyone should have a dog. Notice that the first sentence is made up of the topic and controlling idea of the essay. The word dogs is mentioned as well as the main idea that they make wonderful pets. The second sentence talks about point 1 from the thesis, that dogs are kind. The third sentence talks about point 2, that dogs are loyal. The fourth sentence talks about how dogs are smart, which is the third point from the thesis statement. That's the thesis restatement using new words. Then the 5th sentence is the closing sentence. It suggests something about the topic, that everyone should have a dog. Now that we've finished this PowerPoint, you have 2 jobs. You need to watch the video where I review a 5-paragraph essay so you can recall your new knowledge. Then you need to read chapters 4, 5, and 6 in your book to get more deeply into these concepts.